good morning, and welcome to this week's very lovely outdoor vlog update for a change, right? It's a pretty big, exciting week here because just about a year ago, I first started this vlog to track my music progress, obviously, my learning how to write songs, how to sing, how to play guitar, and yeah, it's just been an incredible process that I've managed to document in this little series of time capsules. I'm a little bit amazed looking back at different episodes, thinking how far I've come since that point in time. And it's so amazing having this little catalog of important moments and steps in my journey where I've learned some key element of songwriting or playing guitar or singing, and seeing the progress build up over the course of months, as well as taking my old flute out of storage and sort of relearning in a way how to play flute, and starting to construct my EP and prepare for its launch in March. It's all here, and like I said, just looking back over the course of the past year, it's really amazing seeing all of the things that have happened in that time, and I'm very excited to see how things are going to look in another year. So happy first birthday to my vlog, right? And yeah, like I said, the EP, which is the release is coming up for in March, is coming along well. We wrapped up the mixing earlier in the week, and Joel sent me through the first sort of batch of audio masters for that. And I'm loving how it sounds. I'm so excited. It's going to be, yeah, really, really cool once it's all done. And there's just a few little tweaks in terms of timing. So double flat, I'm going to ask Joel to add an extra second onto the end because it was just transitioning a bit too abruptly into the next song. And then I reach, I'd also like to extend the ending on that a little bit, maybe prolong the sustain on the synth there. So I've asked Joel to work a bit of magic with that. And yeah, other than that, the only other real change after receiving the masters is really something that I should have brought up much earlier in the mixing process. But it was just a case of me sort of, I suppose, being really new to the process and thinking, oh no, I don't want to be a pain. I don't want to hassle Joel any more than than is necessary, which was, of course, a very silly thing to say to myself, because the whole point of checking these mixes and masters is to identify and address areas that I'm not too keen on. So this one that I should have brought up earlier really arose kind of after a little mixing session in the studio a couple of weeks ago, where Em came along to part of it. And this also underscores another really interesting point about psychology, really, and how different musicians, different audio specialists are really, really attuned to their own area of specialty. Not a big surprise, right? But it was really fascinating seeing firsthand how that plays out when you're working with people on creating music together. So Emily is obviously a vocalist. She's very attuned to vocal phrasing and harmonies and sound textures and things like that. And for her, hearing the breaths in a vocalist's performance is very important. It's part of the performance for her. Other people don't even notice the breaths in singing, and that's just different ways that our brains perceive things, right? It's the same experience, but we experience it in a different way depending on our individual tendencies and sensitivity to different elements. So when we were in the mixing session together, me, Joel, and Em, we had a listen to Savoring Today, and some of the voices had been dropped from Savoring Today, and Emily pointed that out, and so she and Joel worked together on putting breaths back in at appropriate spots in the songs, which was great. I mean, personally, I am neither here nor there about breaths in a song, but it does need to be consistent for me. So if you're going to include the breaths in a song, they need to be in the right spots consistently. And when I was listening to the mix after that session, I noticed that there were a few breaths missing from key spots in the first verse, but I didn't want to be a pain because I was like, oh no, it's not that important, right? No one pays that much attention to the breaths, right? Like it should be okay. But then listening to the master that Joel sent through, and with the idea in mind that okay, this is it. There's no going back from this. If the masters are ticked off, they're done. There's nothing else to go through, right? In the process, that's it. And I couldn't let it go. I was like, no, those breaths need to be in there. Otherwise, it makes the whole vocal phrase sound really weird. It's like this giant run-on sentence where there's no pause for breath, and it just sounds wrong in terms of phrasing. I don't know if I'm describing it right, but just hearing all of the breaths around those points that are there correctly, and then this kind of weird void where a breath should be, just sounded so wrong to my ears, and I couldn't not fixate on that. So I was like, no, we've got to fix that. So I've gotten back in touch with Joel and asked him to add those breaths at those key points, and hopefully that will, bug me less when I get the next round of masters. So, but other than that, it's all sounding really good. Like I said, just those, I suppose, 3 main points to adjust. And then hopefully the final batch of masters that Joel sends through will be good to go. And once I've got those, it'll be a huge, huge step, uploading it to my distribution service provider, along with obviously the other EP artwork and metadata. So putting that up in EMI bands, which will, of course, the function of the distributor is to get that music then up onto streaming services like Spotify and Deezer and Amazon and Apple, and also sort of sound recognition platforms like Shazam. So that will then be up. They will also create a profile for me on those platforms as part of that process. Being a new artist, I don't actually have any profile on those platforms as yet. So once that's done, I'll then have to go in and check everything and add in any sort of artist info that might still be required. And then I will have the pre-save links at that point. And from there, I will be positioned to start actually doing a bit of outreach to potential, parties who may be interested in the EP once it's out. So maybe vloggers, webzines, just sort of reaching out. I've already got a bit of a short list. Like I said, a few weeks ago, I spent a fair bit of time compiling this. Actually, it's not a little list. It's like 300 options long of possible contacts for me to reach out to who might be interested in the EP. I won't reach out to all of them. Really, it was just me spending a few days trawling the web for possible places that might align with the music and with the messaging. And I will be a bit more targeted when I actually reach out to people, but at least I've got that list to refer to, and it'll save me, redoing all of the internet searches again. So that'll be handy. A bit of a heart in the throat moment there, but it's going to be fun. I'm going to look forward to this next step and seeing what sort of interest is generated by the EP, pre-release. I've got a press kit. Like I said, I've sort of drafted that up and got some feedback from people and made a few changes. So I've got the outreach material ready to go. I've got the artwork. I've got all of that lined up. It's just at this point waiting that audio and getting that uploaded into EMU bands. Oh, it is all very exciting. I can't even speculate how things are going to look in a couple of months or even a month, or who knows, maybe next week I will have had a big epiphany or big progress in some area that I didn't even think could happen at this point in time. And I guess that's the beauty of this vlog, isn't it? Just seeing it all unfold and being surprised and delighted at whatever evolves. See you next time.